Good morning, everyone. Just want to do a sound check. Can you hear me if you throw a 1 in the comments? Or even a thumbs up, that works too. Just waiting on the guys to jump up. There we go. Should have Spark here in a moment. Love the technical fun of spaces. Sometimes it's excellent and sometimes it gives us grief. That's part of the fun. Spark, can you hear me?
I can. Joe, can you hear me, mate?
I can. That's excellent news. We're absolutely crushing it.
Awesome.
It's great to be here. Episode 5 of XTalks.
Yeah. Look, I think we'll give it a minute, but just for everyone to jump in. But while we're waiting, let me just give maybe a bit of an overview of XTalks and what we're doing with the XTalk space and maybe who Layer 1X is for those that are new. So, look, I'm really excited about this series. We've already run a few AMA sessions around XTalks already, and for those of you that have joined, I think you found it pretty informative, and I think it's only going to get better and better, especially with today's guest that we've got on. XTalks was created because Layer 1X is all about interoperability. Layer 1X is a Layer 1 blockchain that is not there to compete, it's there to unite. So XTalks gives us a platform to showcase projects on any chain. So, it doesn't have to be on Layer 1X, it could be on any other chain because our focus is chain agnostic. But projects that are wanting to leverage interoperability, see value in interoperability, and I suppose see a place for interoperability and in the future of blockchain. And I think for the discussions that we've had so far, we've talked to gaming projects, DeFi projects, we've talked to investors around interoperability. And really the talks is really just a discussion with these projects to find out what they're doing. What are the projects who are the projects we're speaking to, what they're doing, how does interoperability play into their roadmap, and also their own personal opinions around around interoperability. Is it needed? Is it not needed? And if it is needed, why is it needed? I suppose maybe a little bit about Layer 1X around why interoperability is such a focus for us. Built directly into the Layer 1 blockchain of Layer 1X, which makes us quite unique, is the interoperability technology. It's the cross-chain technology that we call XTalk or crosstalk. That technology actually allows us to connect to any chain, EVM, non-EVM, public, private, hybrid. So where that may differ to other interoperability solutions such as Chainlink CCIP, which is restricted to EVM connection, EVM to EVM, or Polkadot and Cosmos, where their systems are built around almost like an insular ecosystem of blockchains, where Polkadot has parachains, where you have to be a parachain to have interoperability. Cosmos has IBC, where you have to enable IBC into your chain to have interoperability with other IBC enabled chains. What makes us quite unique is because we're chain agnostic, EVM or non-EVM, the chain really doesn't have to do anything, doesn't have to change anything to be able to be connected to Layer 1X. It's really our choice to connect a chain up. Once it's connected, then that chain has bridgeless interoperability between any other chain, meaning that you can see in assets, so tokens, NFTs, but smart contracts can also talk to each other cross-chain, which is really probably the most powerful thing, because then what we start to create is, if you've heard of like these sayings, I think most people would have heard of multi-chain, you would have heard of cross-chain, and you would have heard maybe of interchain. So multi-chain is where a service or a project exists on multiple chains. However, those that particular or a version of that project on each of those chains may not still talk to each other. They may still not communicate with the other versions of that project. So you might have, a project on BSC, the same project, but a different version on AVAX and Polygon. So that's multi-chain, and they don't necessarily talk to each other. Cross-chain is where you've got interactions between two different chains. So, you can talk to one chain or a project on one chain can talk to another chain, or assets can flow between them. Interchain is really what we're aiming for. An interchain is where there's an ecosystem of connected blockchains where the user and the projects can't really differentiate between whether they're on multiple chains or one chain. It's an ecosystem of blockchains forming an experience as if it was one chain. So that's probably the difference where Layer 1X is heading. So I just wanted to give a bit of an overview on XTalks, what we're doing, what we want to showcase, interoperability and projects that are using them. And we've got some amazing projects up today. And also what Layer 1X is about and why we focus on interoperability. Anything you want to add, Joe, before we kind of kick off?
I think just a couple of quick things. We do have a specific gleam set up that I'll get posted in the comments here in a second for the projects and everybody associated on the spaces today. So you'll be able to jump in there. We've got some rewards for that. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the background too. That as L1X, I suppose you would say members or community members, you'd be able to get a part of, and obviously that courtesy extends to everybody else inside the spaces as well. So we've got a heap rolling out that allows, I suppose, everybody to be able to jump in and be involved, especially the guys and all the different guys and girls from all the different projects that are coming on and jumping up on stage as well. So heaps of things that we can add in and I suppose share the love around all of our communities.
It's exactly what we like to do, share the love. Well, without further ado, I think let's kick off. I'm really excited about this AMA session. I'm really excited. I think we've got a really nice, diverse kind of range of projects. And, we've got some great representatives from these projects. So, let's kick off. If I can just welcome to the guests today. We've got Gagarin, we've got Oort, we've got Yuan Token. So what I might start off by doing is if each of the speakers can introduce themselves, maybe their journey through blockchain, and then introduce the project that they're representing today, that would be great. I'm looking at the list, and Gagarin is coming up first. So I believe we've got Anton. Anton, if you could go through and maybe introduce yourself and what Gagarin's doing, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, surely. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Thank you.
Very well. Fantastic. It worked from the first attempt. A miracle. So my name is Artem, and it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm a marketing lead at Gagarin World. So Gagarin is the surname of the first astronaut who orbited the Earth in 1961. So for us and for many people, it's not just a name, it's more of a symbol of the space era, and that's suited perfectly for the project, which helps other projects launching. So we are an advanced decentralized platform, not just a launch pad anymore, seamlessly connecting communities and Web3 projects. We launched like 2 years ago, and besides traditional launchpad services, we now also provide a comprehensive range of white label solutions, including fundraising, claiming, staking, bridging, and token app. Our services encompass project development and go-to-market strategies, fundraising again, and many, many more things. So a pleasure to meet all of you here, and I hope this discussion will be productive and exciting.
No, absolutely. No, welcome again, Arton. It's great to have you. It sounds like you guys are doing some really interesting stuff beyond the basic launchpad, and I think you guys are probably a perfect example of how the launchpad experience is evolving, really, to meet the market demand of what projects need when they're starting up and when they're launching. Let's jump on to Oort as well. Welcome. I believe we've got Sean, and just correct me if I'm wrong, but welcome. A bit about yourself and a bit about the project.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah, loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for the invitation from L1X. And I'm Sean from Oort. I'm now serving as the CTO of the project. I'm also a co-founder. So I have been working on blockchain for 5 or 6 years, I think. So, Oort is a project to build a decentralized infrastructure, essentially for the AI applications. So we have a decentralized network, we call it like Web3 cloud. We offer storage, offer computing, and we build the AI engine on top of our own decentralized computing and storage. So this project has been developed for 3 years, and it was initially like a research project in Columbia University because I was an associate professor in Columbia University, and so now this project has been we have a lot of things has been commercialized, and we launched our Oort storage and Oort AI. So we do have some big collaborators in this space. So for example, Dell and Lenovo. So Lenovo Image, they use our AI engine to store their customer service data in our cloud, and then use the data to improve their AI answering bot, right? So it's kind of LLM model. So the data they collect from the customer service, it could be script, like a phone call script, or like a chat history. They use that data to fine-tuning the AI model, and so that to improve their service. So now the AI engine is actually deployed on our decentralized cloud. Our cloud offers better privacy and low cost. So that's why they choose us, right? So our project is in a critical part right now because we are going to do the TGE very soon, right? I think in mid-Jan. So it's just 10 or 15 days later. So we are talking with Layer 1X to discuss the possibility of using their tools to bring the liquidity from other chains to our chain, right? Because once we do have a Layer 1 solution. Our Layer 1 solution is essentially to connect all the resources, right? Because our resource was contributed by our communities, storage and computing. So our Layer 1 solution is connects to all those decentralized resources together and give them the incentives. So it's a Layer 1 solution and it's EVM compatible. So we are working with Layer 1X on any kind of liquidity issues, right? So that's why I'm here. I got thanks for the invitation and give me the opportunity to introduce Oort to other listeners in the community of Layer 1X. Thank you.
No, thank you, Sean. I think it's really cool. I think that's probably going to be a really big narrative of this year as well, AI and blockchain. And I think it's we'll probably dive later on in the AMA, dive a little bit deeper in terms of how you see those two working together. I think that's really interesting, but exciting times as well. TGE coming up in the next couple of weeks. And Joe, I just wanted to make sure. So we'll do this at the end as well. But that Gleam campaign that we've got running, that has all the kind of Twitter links and everything for the projects on it. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, brilliant. So if you guys want to find out about these projects that we're talking to today, we've got the Gleam campaign. Jump on there. You'll be able to see the handles and everything like that, and really dive deep into these ones. And last but definitely not least, Yuan Token. Welcome, guys. Great to have you here. I know we've had a couple of discussions in the past as well, some really great discussions. But please, a little bit about yourself, a little bit about what you guys are doing. I think everyone's really interested to hear.
Hi, yeah, so I'm Rob. I'm one of the guys who have been elected to be leadership team at Yuan Token, and that's how we do things over at Yuan. Everything is elected. The total supply we voted to migrate to Shibarium, and that brings me nicely to who I am. I was the guy in Fortune magazine who made it big on SHIB. I was part of the Shiba Inu leadership team for some years. People will laugh when I say this, some of my friends in the space, but I'm part of a couple of projects at the moment, all pointing towards Shibarium in some shape or form. For us, Shibarium and Shiba Inu as a whole, and all the projects building on it, are aiming to foster togetherness. And that's what we see and have experienced in our conversations with Layer 1X. Yuan Token are building an aggregator that will run on Shibarium. It's going to include other EVMs at some point, but Layer 1x and Yuan Token, hopefully we can get something together and make that really, really interesting. One of the biggest SHIB army, one of the biggest communities that exists, and really foster this togetherness of not just having chains all over the place, but just having one DeFi. I'm going to say it first, this Bitcoin ETF, we all need to get ready for what potentially might happen.
100%. I think you're saying what's on everyone's mind. And look, I just want to reiterate what Rob is saying. We've had a couple of conversations already, some great conversations, and just a really down-to-earth guy, great team, really focused on community, really focused on adding value to not only Yuan Token community, but also Shibarium as well. So, great to have you on, pardon the pun, but great to have you on as well, Rob. Guys, I thought I might preface the beginning of the AMA now. Thank you everyone for introducing themselves. I think we've got a really rich range of services and different projects that we're going to with you guys here. So I think that's really interesting. And I know we've got maybe a kind of set list of questions, but let's treat it as a relaxed discussion. I want to kind of dive into your projects a little bit more. I want to kind of dive into your opinions around interoperability and how that kind of works as well. So feel free just to jump in on a question that I ask. Every question I ask is to everyone, unless I say specifically it's to you. But what I thought I might do before we go into how potentially you could see interoperability impacting your project, I might maybe take a step back and look at the potential value of interoperability. And I think, from my mind anyway, and jump in if any one of you guys has a different opinion here, but I think interoperability and the value of it probably rests on two major assumptions, right? The first assumption is that the future of blockchain is multiple chains, not just one chain to rule them all. The future of blockchain is multiple chains to exist. That's one of the assumptions that's made, I think, with the need of interoperability. The second assumption is that these different chains that will exist need to talk to each other. So the first assumption being that the future will be multiple chains, and then the second assumption being that these chains will need to talk to each other. Can I get any one of you guys and any one of you to maybe comment on that? Is that a reality? Do we have a future where there are multiple chains existing, and why? And do these chains need to talk to each other, and why? Anyone feel free to jump in, and I'm interested to hear from any one of you guys.
I'll go first then, because interoperability has been a big thing for me personally, but also for Yuan and for Shibarium. Multiple chains, there has to be. I believe that competition improves us. But having that interoperability, the way I've had it explained to me that stuck in my mind was, you've got a lot of shops, but there's no high street to connect them all. So how do you get in between those shops? And fostering those improvements, for me, comes a lot quicker from competition. You want to be cheaper, you want to be faster. Well, the guys next door are doing it faster than you, so now you need to work harder. That's how we grow, that's how we get better, and that's how we make this safe and easy to navigate for people. So we need to build the streets in between the shops, is how I had it explained to me right at the very beginning. But yeah, definitely, there's so many things that we have in crypto. We definitely need multiple chains, whether it's GameFi for speed, which GameFi is probably the most in need of interoperability. But then that needs microtransactions. It doesn't need flat fees for $1 million purchases and such. So multiple chains are going to exist. It's going to foster competition as well as meet specific needs. And it's interoperability will be the streets that connect them.
Yeah, no, I love that analogy, Rob. I think that's really well described. Arten, Sean, any insights from yourselves on, is there a multi-chain future, and why will these chains need to talk to each other?
Yeah, so certainly, everybody understands how important the interoperability is for DeFi, right? You want all the assets to be exchangeable and to be put together and run the DeFi applications. The importance, I don't have to say anything, right? But I want to explain this from another point of view, right? So Oort is you can think of this as DePIN for AI. I'm not sure if anyone have heard about the DePIN. It was like a very hot word, a buzzword, I would say, in these days. DePIN means decentralized.
Yeah, physical infrastructure or something. Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Physical infrastructure network, I think. Decentralized physical infrastructure network. Yeah. So you can think about all the storage resource and all the computing resource that has connected to our network as a physical, decentralized physical resource, right? So we are connecting all these physical resources together and build the AI applications. So our chain is actually our real goal is actually revenue generation, right? So we have a very aggressive goals to achieve certain kind of revenue goals in year 2024. So we are building our partnerships and onboarding big clients to our cloud. So we are welcoming so the physical devices has been pinged to connect to the other chains as well, right? I know there's a lot of things like projects like Helium and also like Akash. They have different kind of resources, right? They have like wireless devices. They have GPU resources. So interchain operability is not only for DeFi. It's also for physical. It's also for physical devices. If you think like these physical devices can be converted to like asset on the chain, and those asset of chain is exchangeable, or you can convert those to DeFi asset, and with the interchain operability, and our Oort user can even use this physical asset in other chains, right? That brings our cloud a much more decentralization and much better use cases. So that's the way we are exploring right now. And I feel like, it's also a way to increase the DeFi use cases. So currently, the DeFi, there's some pain point because the DeFi is always resides in the cryptos, right? It has not been extended to the real physical world. So if we can put the real physical asset onto the chain and make this exchangeable and make this kind of an asset that people can build a DeFi on it, I think that's a big plus for the whole DeFi area, the DeFi kind of, I would say, space.
I totally agree. It's interesting, this deeper narrative that is coming out, and the ability for, I think you saying like tokenization of the physical asset, and then and I think what you talk about in the second half there is really access, right? Is access to a marketplace for that asset, because at the moment, if it's a silo chain and there is no interoperability, the marketplace is restricted to those resources and the capital and the users that are on that one chain. With interoperability, as you say, Sean, now the asset can have value and join a marketplace on other chains that are connected, then opening up, I suppose, broadening the marketplace for that specific asset.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, great. Arten, what I'm really interested about Gagarin, and I'm interested to maybe hear a little bit about from the Launchpad. How is, we went through, Launchpads have almost had their own sort of evolution, right? And their own kind of seasons. Right. And how has that kind of evolved? And now what do you see the future for Launchpads? And specifically, how does interoperability play into what you guys are wanting to do from the Launchpad space?
Yeah, so Launchpads, I can't say that we're that dependent to the trends in interoperability between blockchains and other things regarding like multiple blockchains and whether they will all be blended at some day or not. So for us, we can see a certain development on the market, that some launchpads are being designed exclusively for one or another blockchain. Let's say it's for Polygon or for I don't know, Arbitrum or any other blockchain, and they somehow focus on just one particular chain and launching projects there. For us, it's never been a question. We are launching projects, valuable projects that add value to the world on any chain there is. And I think it's the easiest thing to do is to give a forecast, like 30-year forecast, which no one will ever remember. That one day, okay, every blockchain they will merge together into some giga blockchain. But I totally agree with I think Rob, right, from Yuan Token, saying that competition is the key. And now we can see emerging blockchains somehow being superior to their predecessors, at least in some ways. So for us in blockchain, in Launchpads, it's really important to track those tendencies in newly appearing blockchains and giving solutions to those projects, bringing them services that they require. And most importantly, bridging those projects to people, to our community. Like we just hit the mark of 150,000 people in all our social media, and our main goal is to connect those this community of ours to some really valuable projects. So I would say this is how we go with newly appearing blockchains in the Launchpad sphere.
Artem, like what I'm interested in is because maybe the flip side of that argument is if you're focusing on projects that are building across multiple chains, how do you leverage chain tribalism, right? So chain tribalism being that you've got the maxis. So and I suppose and just in my opinion, I think the siloed nature of chains has probably helped kind of amplify this chain tribalism, right? So I'm focused. This is my chain. I'm focused on one chain. I'm going to be tribalistic about it. How do you, as a launchpad, still leverage chain tribalism, but now focus on projects across multiple chains? Does that come into play at all? I mean, do you lose anything by focusing on projects across multiple chains? Whereas if you focused on projects on one chain, you could leverage the chain tribalism of that particular community. Or am I off there?
I think you can tell us if that's the case, because let's say you're launching your game on Polygon and you can see a launchpad or two being tier 2 or tier 1 launchpads that are launching exclusively Polygon products. Would you rather go to, apply to a launchpad like this or to some bigger names like Bullperks or Citify or Gagarin or, I don't know, DAOmaker? What would you prefer? I think it certainly lies on the management, on the administration of a project, and it's usually it's all about the conditions on which one or another launchpad are basically bridging community to a project. So I think it's all it's a tough question actually, because this exclusivity brings some reason to applying to a certain launchpad and making partnership and collaborate in many different terms. But multi-blockchain launchpads, they can be superior actually in many questions regarding the promotion of a project that they partnered with and so on.
Yeah, no, I think, and maybe if I can, I might even ask that same question to Rob, because Rob, I mean, SHIB is probably one of the communities, like loyal, strong, vocal, fanatical communities that are out there. And how does in terms of chain tribalism, SHIB's probably a really good example. How does interoperability affect chain tribalism, do you think? Because now so now, we've got, say, SHIB, we've got Shibarium, but now it connects to other chains. Does it enhance chain tribalism and like loyalty to a chain, or does it start to dilute it a little bit?
I would be a fool to say anything could dilute the tribalism of Shiba. For me, it's a matter of education. Shiba was my first venture, my first real venture into crypto. For many people, that's the case. Meme tokens, I'm not going to call it. I've just seen a couple of guys join the chat now, so I'm not going to say it's still a meme token to the degree it is. That tends to be people's first venture into crypto. It's nice and easy. The community are welcoming. And once you get that tribalism set in, you're not educating yourself on what is out there. So to have that interoperability, to be able to come in and out of that chain, to have projects come in and out of that chain. We're seeing GameFi projects now going on to Shibarium, transitioning over from ETH, just because it's so much cheaper, and the speed of it as well. So we're educating ourselves by allowing that interoperability. If we shut shop and say we're Shiba, we will remain Shiba forever, we're not going to get better. We're going to stay stuck in our ways, saying this is the greatest DEX. There are none out there that are better than us, which it's not the case. We need to educate ourselves so that we can improve. So if it dilutes the tribalism, I think it strengthens the ability of the chain, the ability of the projects on that chain.
Yeah.
So it swings and roundabouts.
And I think maybe the opposing argument would be and an example is, it's almost like countries, right? So we've got different countries in the world, and they have international trade. However, you can still have loyalty to your nation, right? But still collaborate with other nations across in international trade. And I think you guys SHIB is a really good example of the power of community, right? And how that can never be understated. What I'm really interested about as well with Yuan Token. Now, Rob, you mentioned the DEX aggregator. How does interoperability play into adding gasoline on top of what you guys are doing, really kind of fueling it even more at Yuan Token?
If I've got some BNB and there's a project launched on Shibarium, how fast can I get there? Currently not very fast. Even using a bridge, there's a tweet from Vitalik saying, hold on guys, it's not the safest thing. And how many times have we seen bridges go wrong? So especially when you consider L1X, well, it's not a bridge, so it removes that security issue very straight away. Being able to bridge in and out, it's imperative to the survival of a chain. If there's a good project launching on Shibarium and you say, right, you need to have Bone to purchase it, how many people realistically are outside of the however many million, but how many people realistically just have Bone sat there in case something good is launching on Shibarium? This is DeFi. You don't have hours. If you want to make money at times, or you want to be the first for an NFT drop, you have seconds, you have minutes. So having that interoperability, it's imperative for the survival of the chain. But also, if there's something that you want, you need to have that there, because the current speeds of bridging in and out of chains, it's not acceptable. So we need to improve that.
Yeah, and I think you raise a really good point, and I think it's a really great example of how like a DEX aggregation and interoperability can work together to give more access. And you hit the nail on the head. And there's probably a few people nodding their heads in the audience here when you said, DeFi. Sometimes you've got seconds. You don't have minutes or hours or days to take an opportunity. And if you've got to go through multiple different, I suppose, parties if you've got to take it from a blockchain onto a centralized exchange, bring it back onto a blockchain, or swap it on the centralized exchange, bring it back onto a blockchain just to make a purchase, maybe the token price could have moved 30% in that time. So with DEX aggregation, I think what you're saying there is that with the DEX aggregator, and I think this is where the collaborative approach from you guys and from Layer 1X is really, really valuable, because you've got a DEX aggregator that you're providing for the Shibarium network. We've got an interoperability solution to go cross-chain, and we can connect to another DEX aggregator on other chains as well. So now we have a scenario where we've got DEX aggregators across multiple different chains, and we've got a interoperability solution to connect up those DEX aggregators. So really, the situation, if I'm not mistaken, really is an any token to any token swap.
Well, that's the holy grail, isn't it? I've got some shit coins in my pocket, and I want to sell them on this chain, and I want to buy this incredible token over here. How fast can I do it? Is it even possible to do it? This is the holy grail that we're talking about. And with an aggregator, if you can even incorporate NFTs onto that as well, so it's not just tokens, you open the doors to GameFi. Majority of us here in crypto tend to be gamers. So my view on that is, if I purchase an NFT for a game and the following year they bring out an updated one, I own this NFT. I should be able to utilize this NFT in this newer version. Maybe it's not as good as the new versions, but I should be able to utilize it. Maybe I want to hop over to another game of similar standards, let's say they're both on Unity, they're both first-person shooters. Why can't I use this gun that I purchased in this game over here? You're opening the doors to ease of access. And a good example of this is, who cares about the workings in the background? If I have ease of access to something that I want, I don't care how it happens. When I go to a shop and I tap my card and I pay for my petrol in the car, I don't care how many transactions per second Visa can manage. I don't care about how many avenues that has to go through. I care about how many seconds or fractions of a second did it take for that payment to happen. That's what these aggregators, from any chain to any chain, with any token to any token, this is what we're venturing into now. And we can talk transactions per second and watch people switch off. But when we say you can sell this shit coin and buy this good coin, and it'll take 7 seconds, 14 seconds, whatever incredible speed you guys are hitting, that's all people care about. So we're opening the doors to mass adoption.
Yeah, and I think you raise quite a few really interesting points there, is that what the user actually cares about, right? And I think what you're talking about there is, if we can get blockchain to a level where the user experience is similar to some experiences outside of blockchain, where we're just, things are happening for us and we really don't care what's happening in the background, but it's happening in a safe and fast manner. I think that's as you say, that's the ultimate goal. And I think with the DEX aggregation, that does really open up a world of opportunity for access to multiple different tokens. I might just switch topics a little bit here, and maybe Sean, I know you gave us a bit of an intro into Oort and what you guys are doing. And before I kind of ask the question, I really kind of think it's a really good example of a chain that is specifically targeting a specific service. Yes, you will have other services on that layer one, but at the core, you're providing a specific service, and it kind of harks back to an AMA we did a few weeks ago with OmChain, which is specifically focusing on digital identity based on the blockchain, and that's their main aim. And I think there's probably a lot of benefit to that. And I also think that potentially the future of blockchain, and why multi-chain is really the future, is because you will have chains that want to focus specifically on a particular service and do it really well. And then that's sometimes all they want to do, but they still want to give options to their community to access other services that may exist on other chains. That may be the scenario. Or you may have chains that are public and then ones that are private, and they're either enterprise run or government run. They need to be private. Well, those are two different chains that exist, and they need connection. But back to Oort, why the focus on AI and blockchain, and how do you, and I think that's quite an interesting, a lot of people will be interested in this, how is AI and blockchain going to work together, in 2024? How do you see that playing out?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question, right? So we have observed the merge of blockchain and AI like 3 years ago, right? We started this like a long time ago, even before this. The large language model OpenAI got noticed by all the community. Another co-founder and I, we are both teaching like AI and blockchain class in Columbia University, and we know how important this data privacy for AI application is. We understand how the computing cost for AI training, right? So we a long time ago we already noticed that the GPU price is going to be higher and higher, and so we try to build a decentralized infrastructure for AI training, right? So there's a lot of new ideas emerged in this area, right? First of all, we know how Web3, right? In our cloud, we use the zero knowledge proof, ZKB technology, to ensure that the data that is stored in our cloud is authentic, as tamper proof, right? So everybody can verify that data is original data, but without actually reveal the data contents there, right? Meanwhile, our architecture, we use a technology called federated learning. The federated learning means you don't have to send the data to a centralized server to train your models. Instead, you can train your model at the edge. The data is always stored in the edge device, and then the trained weight is sent to a centralized server, and that weight, the server is going to merge that weight together, and it becomes a fine-tuned model, an improved model. So the data is actually not sent to a centralized server. That's the way we protect the data privacy. So in year 2024, we noticed that the AI, there's a big wave of AI and a big shortage of the computing resources, right? So, and also given the, I think there's a lot of startups starting to build all different kind of applications based on large language models, and we also see like the large language model. They support the audio, videos, and also like a spreadsheet, all the things, right? But we do have some clients, they have data privacy concerns. For example, Lenovo, right? We are collaborating with. They are not going to use OpenAI, mainly because of the data privacy issues, right? They don't want to send all their clients' data to OpenAI. So they want us to help them to deploy a large language model on their own cloud, right? So, and also with data privacies. So we do see like a lot of challenges in the AIs. First of all, the data privacy signal, or second of all, the shortage of the GPU and the computing resource. So that's all the thing. That's two key challenges, and that's the way that Oort are dealing with, right? We have blockchain technology, we have zero knowledge proof, all the Web3 technology to protect the data privacy for the AI clients. Meanwhile, we also have our decentralized computing service, which is going to be launched in Q1 2020, I think in early, maybe Q2 2024, so that our clients is able to use our decentralized computing service to get low-cost GPU resources and train and fine-tune their models. So that's a way we see that we can serve the new wave of AIs, because there are so many startups, they are short of all the region that we want to serve to those people. Yeah, thank you. I'm not sure if I answered all the questions.
Joe,
Just want to check it.
Yeah,
I can hear you, Sparky. You there?
Yeah, I can hear me. Did Sean just cut out a little bit? I think he's gone.
A little bit, but I think you just cut out a little bit and then came back. Yeah, I can still hear okay. Is there just a quick check? I can hear you, Spark. Just want to check everybody else on the panel too. If you could just give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, does everybody hear what
maybe,
I said?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sean, Rob, and Artin, maybe just speak a little bit just to make sure we can hear.
Hello,
Yeah,
hello.
hello.
Can
Oh yeah, all
I
good.
can hear you guys.
All good. Yes, I mean from my end, I could hear 99% of everything you just went through. I'm not sure, Spark, if you cut out a bit. Can we get just some thumbs up reacts if everybody else could hear as well?
Okay.
Yeah, all good. Strange. Let's keep on going, but for some reason I can only hear you, Joe. I couldn't hear Sean. So, but let's maybe start off where you finished there, Sean. Maybe a few seconds ago, and continue on.
Yeah. So should I repeat what I said? I'm not sure like everybody hear what I said. I think just a quick summarization. So in year 2024, I do see the AI. We already see the wave of AI applications from the launch of after the launch of ChatGPT. Right, we do see the a big wave of AI applications on large language models. Right, so lots of startups are going to be emerged, but there are lots of several pain points they have to deal with. First of all, data privacy. Second of all, short of the high cost of the GPU resource. That's the way that the Oort is helping them. We want to use our Web3 technology to prove that to provide the data privacy for the data that has been stored in Oort. And meanwhile, we have our decentralized computing service to provide the cheap GPU resources to those AI startup projects. Hello. Can anybody hear me clearly?
Yeah,
Maybe I should switch my.
I got that clearly. I'm not sure if everybody else did. Okay. I got that perfectly fine.
Yeah, I did.
Spark, how you go? Okay.
Yeah, I got that. I got the end of that. I think it was just me personally. I just jumped in, jumped out, but I think everyone heard that. I think the issue was just to me personally. But when I came back in, I just heard you as well. So, so I think that's what's quite interesting, and I think from the AI perspective and the blockchain perspective, blockchain being able to give that privacy. And I think you mentioned at the beginning as well, the cost efficiency to for example, what a client like Lenovo is looking for. That is, it's better privacy, it's better cost efficiency to what a solution would provide if it wasn't using blockchain. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
And how does okay? So here's an interesting. So how does interoperability, or how could potentially interoperability, the ability to communicate between chains, how could that impact the use of AI in blockchain?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that first of all, the AI service are the key business that we are focusing on, right? So we do want build our service with chain agnostics. So our platform is going to accept cryptos from different chains. We are not going to, our chain, our own layer one solution is just a tool for verifying the authenticity of the resources and connects all the resources together. But we are welcoming all different crypto payments to our chains, right? Another thing is, as I said, right, we also want to scheduling our AI engine on the physical resources that has been connected to other chains, not only on our chain, right? So I just want all the physical resources gets fully utilized, not only our chains, right? That's the way we are welcoming the interchain of operability onto Oort. So yeah, back to our question about the chain operabilities.
Yeah.
Our loyalty is not the loyalty of a developer in our chain is not based on the DeFi applications. So we do have lots of APIs, not only the APIs for DeFi, right? We have APIs for AI. We have APIs for storage. We are welcoming the developers to build innovative applications by combining all those APIs together, by using the blockchain technology plus the storage, cheap storage, and also our decentralized computing, and put all these things together and do innovative things, right? So I feel like more the larger of crypto community we have, the better for the innovation we have. So we always welcome the interchain operability in our Oort platform.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, and thank you so much for that. I think having that explanation around the AI and Bitcoin working, blockchain working together, I think is really interesting for people listening, and how that they're going to play hand in hand, and how I suppose blockchain really does add a level of value to AI and its usage in terms of privacy, and also I suppose with the data storage in terms of cost efficiency. What I'm interested, Artem, if I can move to you and Gagarin, I know you mentioned this before, that you're focusing and you're working with projects on multiple different chains. How are you currently providing the solution for me to be able? Let's say you've got a project launching on Binance, and I've got AVAX in my wallet that I want to participate in that project launching on Binance, and maybe they're raising in BNB. How do you facilitate that transaction currently to be able to get users that have capital on other chains to come in and invest in or take part in the raise that's with a project on another chain? How are you currently doing that?
You mean from the contributor, from the investor perspective?
Yes,
right?
yes. Yep.
Usually we do it with marketing. We just convince a person to possess the cryptocurrency that's needed to buy out the allocation that we have, because the project should be valuable and bringing some good gains. So you want to do this operation of this transaction of getting those tokens. But indeed, this is super important, and inevitably, I think every multi-chain launchpad will have to face it at some point. Again, as Rob was saying, what users care about is the ease of use and accessibility. So I don't want to make an extra step, but unfortunately I do have to make one. Now, as the blockchains are emerging, like mushrooms sometimes, and a solution like this should be implemented for sure. So this is in our short-term plan, in our short list, to implement a feature that would solve this. But currently, I would say, as I started, it's more of a convincing a person, making it externally as easy as possible to get the tokens needed for allocation purchase. But yeah, a fantastic suggestion, I would say.
Yeah, and what I'm also, because obviously you guys get exposure to different projects, right? And I know through the conversations that we've had with various projects that, and I think Sean mentioned it as well, is chain agnostic does come up more and more with us in terms of projects wanting to be have a chain agnostic focus, so that they're not wanting to be tied to one chain. Is that a theme that you're hearing through the projects that you guys are working with, that they're also looking for some sort of chain agnostic solution where they can exist on multiple chains? I mean, how are those? I mean, what do you see in the space in terms of projects and being chain agnostic?
Well, it certainly depends on the project. Some are really they are fans of their chains, like especially games. They, for some reason, they are just, maybe they're paid for being as loyal as they are by Polygon Labs or whoever pays them. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But in general, yeah, more and more chain agnostics, as you've been saying, are emerging too. And yeah, like could you repeat your question once again? Like what?
Yeah, and maybe I might expand on it as well. And so maybe it's, when I say chain agnostic, and I think maybe to your point, a chain, a project is, let's say they're building on a chain, but they still want to have access to users and capital on other chains. And so and obviously our conversations with projects is biased because that's probably our unique selling point, where you can build on a chain and you can access capital and users on other chains, but stay on one chain. Are you hearing projects talking more about wanting to access users and capital on other chains?
The thing here that launchpads, they're usually connecting people with some potentially great projects on the early stages of their development. And usually at such stages of IDO, of like TGE coming, whatever, the project, they're not yet that into going multi-chain and attracting people from other chains. Because like if you have a token, right? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, I would be glad to hear your opinion on that. But it's quite hard to let's say you are launched on an EVM chain and you want to launch, I don't know, a token on Solana. It would be a completely different token that you have to somehow maintain and support. So it's quite hard, and it's especially hard for the projects on early stages that apply to us and that are gaining their first launch, basically.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you would, for example, so just to kind of answer that question, how the Layer 1X protocol works, is that, let's say you want to issue tokens to holders on multiple chains, then you can do that, but obviously you're going to have the if you want a native version of that token, it's going to be native to the chain that you're issuing it on. I suppose the workaround on that is that you could still issue tokens to somebody. So let's say they want to invest on Solana, but the project's on BSC. So you could take the investment on Solana and issue the BSC tokens to them in their MetaMask wallet on BSC. And I suppose what we're doing in terms of the workaround for that, and when we release our X wallet, is the X wallet, which is Layer 1X's wallet, will allow you to actually hold tokens from EVM and non-EVM, any chain we're connected to. So let's say you want to take capital on Solana and issue a BSC token. Well, you can do that all with the same wallet address. So that makes it a little bit simpler. And I think, and also just to explain, I think maybe Rob mentioned before, GameFi, right? So having a weapon on BSC game and be able to use that, wanting to use that in a first-person shooter game on maybe Polygon. So there's two options that our interoperability provides. You can either port that NFT over to Polygon to access the game, or because smart contracts can talk to each other, you can keep that NFT on BSC, and the Polygon game can just send the smart contract communication over to verify that you have that weapon, and then unlock that particular weapon in the game. So you don't actually have to move that NFT off BSC, because the smart contract can just go and fetch the verification that you hold it. So this is where collaboration can become a lot easier between games, where you're not required to move the NFT across, because you can verify across chain as well. So, so interesting. So what I suppose from the Launchpad perspective, another question I have is, what's changing with Launchpads? And maybe kind of touched on this a little bit, but you talked about at the beginning offering these additional white label services. Is that how the Launchpad landscape is evolving, because there's more and more support systems that projects require? Why are you guys offering this, and is that because that's what the projects are needing now, and is that how Launchpads are evolving?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. And I can say that indeed the environment is changing drastically from like when we started 2 years ago. It's completely different industry for launchpads now, and you can see it even if you take a look at the allocation amounts that projects, even like the super hype projects, are giving to launchpads in general. People are starting distributing their attention to many different launchpads instead of just going for one. At the same time, launchpads are giving a much wider spectrum of services they provide. So Launchpad is becoming not only a fundraising platform, it becomes let's say a store, right? As we've been referring to a couple of times during this call. A store which can give, where you can buy any sort of service that you need. A universal tool, I would say. If at some point you are not ready for fundraising yet, you still go to a launchpad. Launchpad we become more tailor-made, I could say, more bespoke to the needs of the client, of a project. And I think this is the future of launchpads, becoming more creating more unique offers for projects, and that would actually open their potential. That could be white label solutions, that could be some sort of marketing. Like I'm personally am responsible for marketing for projects that are coming to our platform. And every time, like previously, a couple of years ago, we had just one offer, like, guys, hey everyone, let's do some KOL marketing and the goodbye. I don't know. Now we do a really on-demand solution approach, and we try to weave the offer that would suit the needs, that would take a project to the point where they see themselves, not where we see them. So I would say it's more listening, more giving, and just maybe it's also connected to all other trends in blockchain, like as we've been discussing, the interoperability and blending blockchains into one thing, or maybe there will be a dozen or 100, I don't know, million independent exclusive blockchains. So same goes for other things, and we are also under a trend like this, I would say.
I think you touched on something there. I think, it kind of fits into what you're talking about in terms of that customization for the projects coming through, in terms of what they need specifically. That does kind of reach into a larger theme where blockchain is kind of focusing on this customization, whether it's customization for projects or whether it's customization for users, where they can personalize their user experience, and it's a simpler user experience, it's a safer user experience. Really interesting. No, and thank you for sharing that with us, Artem. Guys, I'm conscious of your time, so let me just ask maybe a couple more questions. And maybe we'll start with you, Sean. What are some of the upcoming newsworthy things that are happening with Oort? What are there any partnerships and any milestones? I think you mentioned one that's coming up. So what's some of the exciting stuff happening at Oort? That's coming up.
Yeah, certainly. So the first big news is we are going to do the TGE in January, right? So that's the way that we have been. I think we are going to announce some exchange that we are going to have our token listed. So that's the first step. We are going to extend our communities, right? So certainly if we got listed, we are going to have like a bigger communities and so then I think we have a very aggressive roadmap in year 2024. So first, we are going to launch our decentralized computing service, so that building like a low-cost computing platform for AI training and inferencing. So also, if you look at our tokenomics, we are going to have a certain percentage of the token is reserved for the data contributors or the data feedbackers. I would say data feedbackers in our platform, right? So we are going to launch so data is asset, right? We are a storage service, and the data that has been stored in our cloud is also the asset, right? So and specifically this data is built, is stored for AI training purpose. So if you have know some kind of terms in large language models, you should have heard something about it's called reinforcement. It's called a reinforcement human feedback learning, something like that. Okay, so it's kind of like you can improve the large language models, the quality of large language models by human feedbacks. Okay, so that's something like data applications we also going to launch as like a D app in our platform, so that any users, our AI engine, our clients, they can actually use our resource, like use our community to help them to providing the feedback of their large language models. They can rate their answers and use that feedback to improve their AI models. So essentially, I think our exciting things is we are building like a closed loop of all the AI applications. Our community members, our community, our technology, our token holders, all of them are like connect to each other, right? I think we build a closed loop and build a very, very strong community with a very kind of well-designed tokenomics, so that we can see that our token is going to be widely accepted and deployed, and also we are going to see a very strong kind of token price in this year. Thank you.
Excellent, Sean. No, it sounds like you guys are doing a lot in 2024. If people want to, and obviously, guys, anyone listening, we've got the Gleam campaign. Jump onto the Gleam campaign. Joe, where can they find the Gleam campaign? Because that's obviously where we've got the kind of the Twitter handles for all the projects. How can someone find that Gleam campaign link?
Yeah, so just in the comments of this this spaces I've just shared it under Geriento. Obviously, I didn't want to jump out of the handle just in case it terminated this space. But so if you just scroll down through the comments under my handle Geriento, I've shared that there. It comes up with a big picture to the Gleam, and it's got the X interoperability banner there.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. And then obviously we've got the project's kind of Twitter handles. Sean, other than the Twitter handle, how can people get involved more, understand more, and learn more about what you guys are doing? Is there any other places that they can do that as well?
Yeah, I would say just follow our Twitters, and the best thing is we also have Discord and a Medium channel. So just follow us, and as I said, we already have 2 products has been launched, like a storage and also the AI, Oort AI. So just log in and take 2 minutes and register an account and start to experience it. Yeah, that's the best way to support us and also understand our project.
Absolutely. And I think you raise a good point. One of the best ways to learn, and this is just from my own personal journey within crypto and blockchain, is learn by doing, right? So play around, like Sean said, they've got some stuff that's already there, get active with it, play around with it, understand it, and I'm pretty sure if they go to the Twitter handle, Sean, they'll have the links to the other places you mentioned as well, like Discord and websites and stuff like that. Okay, perfect. Artin, what's happening? What's some of the exciting stuff coming up for you guys? Partnerships, milestones, either short term and also 2024. What's some of the stuff that you can share with us with Gagarin?
Well, for us, it's we have reworked the strategy for 2024 dramatically compared with 2023. I think we spent the whole month of December doing this alongside launching the project. So in 2024, as we discussed before, like we will be pursuing customization, customability, and providing the bespoke solutions for our clients. Then in terms of partnerships, like we'll be growing as well. We are expanding to partnering with blockchains, with blockchain labs. That I would say just in with all the parties that could possibly bring benefits to the projects that we're launching and the users. So in order to make those projects like really valuable, in order for us to give contribution to these projects, not just to host them, but to provide a real launch to them. We'll be growing in numbers too, so we have planned some great events for this year for our community. Also, like a lot of people have been talking about this, and in the summer when the market was really harsh, that education and growing tall, not broad, is quite important to providing education to your community, providing some insights, talking to people, and making everyone grow is also a priority for us. So we'll be leaning to that in 2024 too.
Oh, sorry, guys. I was just on mute. Excellent, Artin. I think there's I love what you guys are doing in terms of working with partnerships to enhance the offering that you're delivering to projects that are coming through Gagarin. I think that's excellent. I think that's that's very much in line with our collaborative approach as well. And look, and I think Rob mentioned at the beginning, but with a Bitcoin ETF approval, a halving year, the talks of potentially an interest rate decrease in the US from the central bank. It could be an amazing year for to get involved with launchpads, right? And Gagarin is definitely one that's on the list. So if people do want to understand more about Gagarin, what you guys are doing, get involved with what you guys are doing. Obviously, we mentioned before we've got the Gleam campaign, but where else can they go, Artin, to find out a bit more about Gagarin and the projects that you guys are launching?
The path is universal for most of the project. You just jump to our Twitter and you can find everything there in our tap link. The biggest discussion is going on in Telegram. We have Discord, we have Twitter. We're not trying to spread your attention across all the platforms. So choose one that suits you most, and let's catch up there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point you raised as well. And so obviously you've got the Twitter handle, but some communities might have a more active Discord or a more active Telegram. So for you guys, it's the Telegram channel, right? That you're going to get more. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. And Sean, just to come back to you guys, as Discord, I can get the kind of the reports and the posts from Twitter, but if I want to get into conversation, is Discord where they go for Oort?
Yes, Discord, Telegram, we have our community manager to manage all the channels. So feel free to ask any questions. Also, we are going to announce we are going to have lots of airdrop opportunities there. So just follow us. Yeah.
Okay, that's excellent. And Rob, Yuan Token, exciting stuff that's coming up for you guys, short term, long term. What does 2024 hold in the near future and in the midterm as well for Yuan?
Oh, okay. I'll give away some alpha. We we have our aggregator. The fee structure is going to be in a way that benefits the community. This isn't going to be, the guys that built it are going to take a fortune from it. This is all pointing towards the guys and girls in our community. This is all to benefit the project. We want to make a statement. We want to show how we feel a project should be ran, especially over on Shibarium. We want the people in our community to benefit the most from this. So the aggregator will have an educational platform. It will have an analytics page. We're going to utilize our 1x, of course. We are mentioned before, it's the holy grail. How could we not drink from that cup? At the same time, this is the alpha. We're partnering up with quite a few projects. One of them being a new project called Fossirian, where we're going to build the educational platform. We're also going to create a TV channel exclusively for Shibarium. So that's very exciting. There's a lot more to come from that partnership as well. We're working with guys at MarSwap. What we're doing is we're fostering collaboration, because we feel that's how we strengthen ourselves. We strengthen the chain that we call home, Shibarium, but also reaching out to those other chains that certain projects, hosting spaces right now, open doors to and allow us to see DeFi for its entirety. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up. TV channel.
Yeah. Have you fancied yourself as a celebrity, Rob? Or
No. No, far from it. Very good friend of mine asked me and another friend to go and help them out, and I kind of got suckered into creating this TV channel, educational platform, and now it's 2:20 in the morning where I am in Northern England, and I've still got a bit of work to do. But as you said, there's ETS, there's the halvings. We have a joke in the Yen community where I often say sleepers for poor people. So by that right, at the end of this year, we should all be just rolling in it, shouldn't we?
Yeah. And Rob, it sounds like the list that you just rattled off is really exciting. So, if the guys, if you're listening, want to get involved, want to learn more, obviously we've got the Twitter handle, but with Yuan Token, what other places can they do that? If they want to get into a conversation, where can they do that as well? Find out more about what you guys are doing at Yuan.
Our Twitter, of course, definitely our Telegram. There's some guys in the chat now showing PFPs of our logo for Yuan Token, and a few of them pushing me for a Discord channel. We need to do it. In all honesty, I'm autistic and I can't tolerate looking at Discord, never mind being in there and being a mod on it. So I think that's something that will open up to our community. They can run the Discord, but Telegram right now for us is the place to be.
Excellent. No, that's brilliant. Look, gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with some last words. I'm conscious of your time. Obviously, Rob, it's very late in the night or early in the morning, however you want to look at where you are. So we really appreciate everyone, Artin, Sean, Rob, with your committing your time to share what you're doing, talk about interoperability on the spaces. But some final thoughts from each of you guys, some final words, and also maybe wrapped up in those final words, what advice would you give to developers that are just starting out, right? That are building something. I think, the future of blockchain relies on our builders, right? So what sort of advice from your own experience can you give to those builders, and any other final words? So happy to kind of open the floor to anyone who wants to go first on that.
No, I would say unite, make friends, and do your thing. I think it's it's pivotal for blockchain, for our current stage of development there. Making friends, making partnerships, having people who you trust with allocating certain tasks, outsourcing, outstaffing, whatever. Like, you'll always need support. There is no way you can just plan everything for your blockchain project. And I would say have some good friends.
I think that's great advice. I think, sometimes it's it's what you know, sometimes it's who you know. So why not do both, right? Thank you, Artin. I really appreciate that. Sean, Rob, any last words and any advice as well to those builders out there?
Yeah. So, is this to me or to Yuan Token? I maybe I missed it. So okay. Let me speak first. So, I think this year we are going to. I already explained roadmap. We are also connecting to the layer 1x. We are going to implement this chain interoperability. So the last words is I hope everybody follow us, and the developer. We are also going to offer the best experience for the developers, so to help ease everybody to build the apps on our platform, and we are going to give lots of incentives to the developers. Thank you.
Fantastic. You heard it here, guys. So if you're building, great words from Sean. Thank you, Sean. Rob, any final words from you and any advice as well?
Yeah, collaboration is the key. When we're talking about mass adoption, you can go and learn how to write a Solidity contract in a classroom, but what that classroom can't teach you is how to launch a token and keep some ETH back, because at some point someone's going to dump your chart and you want to be able to combat that. You need to learn from people who have been here before you. Look for the ones who look tired and have grey hair, because they're the ones who have made the most mistakes and learned the most lessons. That's how this is going to be over the next few years. People are going to come to us here right now and ask for our advice. My advice to anybody out there is, if somebody tells you you can't just do that, then you should definitely go and explore that, because it means you're onto something. Whenever somebody says you can't just do that, that means you're an explorer. That means that you're thinking of things and ways that haven't been thought of before. This is DeFi. No one knows what's going to happen tomorrow, never mind 4 or 5 years from now. So if someone tells you can't do it, just go and do it.
Yeah, no, I love that. What a great way to round it up. And I think if I could summarize collaboration in 2 words, it's interoperable relationships. I had to put it in there somewhere. But look, gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Artin from Gagarin, Sean from Oort, Rob from Yuan Token. I think I've really enjoyed the spaces. I really appreciate your time. I look forward to talking to you more as well. And I urge everyone listening to go and check these guys out, what they're doing, some exciting stuff, as you heard, coming up in 2024. Gentlemen, thank you again. Thank you for everyone who joined in on the spaces. Thank you for everyone who will listen to the recording of the spaces. And we will see everyone again very soon.
And just to jump in, when that is, for the last one, just big thanks from me too, for everybody, Spark, you too, for jumping on and obviously being an amazing host and asking all the right questions to get the right answers. It's fantastic having all of you here. Our next XTalks is on Monday the 8th at 12 UTC. And we do have special guests on there as well: Digger Labs, Havens Compass, Tater Games, and Sakaba. I hope I'm not butchering those names. I'm doing the very best I can. But once again, thanks everybody for jumping on. This is a regular occurrence, these spaces, so we'll keep on rolling with them, and we'll keep having on amazing guests. And obviously, that's going to help us, get the word out there and have more exposure to not just Layer 1X, but to the rest of the projects to jump onto. So once again, thanks everyone, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys. A pleasure to be here.